Liftoff. Liftoff. 30 minutes after.
Hey everybody, Garnett Lee here, episode 100, question of the week. So excited that you guys have stuck with us so long. Thanks very much. Hope you listened to the episode because there's a tremendous amount of stuff in there, including a crazy philosophical discussion about the future of economies, both physical and virtual, that Jeff opened. And he brought it up around 3D printers of all things. It's pretty crazy. You should check it out. I'm going to do two questions real quick because the first one is Matt Giesbricht, who asks, what's your favorite Weekend Confirm moment? You know, actually, that is a question I sat here for about 10 minutes thinking about, and then I realized, you know what the best part of Weekend Confirmed is? It's that moment. Right when Brooklyn cues up the countdown music, Ryan's sitting inside the booth, and he's got the camera on, and we're just about to start the show, and it kicks off when we launch into the show because there's this great launch of adrenaline, and it's because there's so much that goes into getting ready for the show, whether it's, you know, going through all of the comments from the week before, getting all of that lined out, getting all the news ready, thinking about all the things we're going to talk about, talking to the guys ahead of time, but then it's there. We're finally doing it, and it's I don't know, it's just a rush, and knowing you guys are listening makes it great. So that is week in and week out the best part of Weekend Confirmed. The twofer is Improbable Jay's question of, when dialogue trees get criticized, is better writing or simply mixing up the good, bad, gray lines the way? I think Improbable Jay brings up a question that goes right into the heart of where we are right now with modern game making as far as adventure games and role-playing games and pretty much anything that's narrative-driven, in that we're still being exposed to the underlying game systems. We're being exposed to those gears and cogs, if you will, that are working underneath the surface of the game to make all of that narrative stitched together. And we don't like it. Because whereas we used to see games in a different degree of fidelity, it's like Ryan and I were just talking about with Skyrim. Skyrim looks so good that you're getting really close to that movie level presentation. But in a movie, you have natural dialogue. You have actors acting out their parts. Even in Uncharted, where we see actors acting out their parts on stages, which is one of the reasons we all agree that their dialogue looks so great, were they to introduce something that broke that, it would have to be stitched together. And that's where we haven't evolved quite yet. So I don't think it's so much the writing as it is that we're still at this disconnect between where the presentation has risen to a very high level of quality. How do we develop more and increasingly more natural ways of blending dialogue together and having natural interpersonal relationships with characters that are in fact simply AI routines inside the program? Maybe there's some future, for instance, with cloud-based computing here. Maybe there's a way that in an adventure game, as the game was continued to being played, it could look at it and analyze, here are the patterns of the way players interact with these characters, here are new manners of interaction that we need to start adding into it. We could have dynamically built response routines for NPCs within RPGs or adventure games. I don't know. Speculative, obviously. Jeff got my futurism working. Ryan's back there going like, what the hell is he talking about? Anyway, I don't think it's so much a writing thing, though, really, Improbable Jay. It really boils down to, there still has to be mechanisms. There's still game systems at work. It's the same thing as when you see the combat piece of Skyrim working underneath the skin. You want it to be fluid and natural. You want it to be like, I'm in there swinging my sword, but you know at the end of the day, you're pulling the trigger on your controller or pressing the button on your mouse, and then that's triggering a routine within the program, and it's making that animation happen on the screen. And the same thing is happening here in these dialogue trees. Is you ultimately have to make the selection, which leads to a series of events that gets you a response. And I think we'll get more sophisticated at how we hide that and how it becomes more natural and feels like the sort of dialogue interactions we have with real people. And that'll be another blurring of the lines in our interactive fiction. Hope you're enjoying us every week. Weekend Confirmed, 11 a.m. Pacific on iTunes. And of course, subscribe to the Weekend Confirmed YouTube channel. We've got some more video surprises coming in the next few days, so stay tuned for those.
That's thrown out there as
It was the episode where we had our night
something that needs to
taping,
stop.
and we
Like,
all
the
started
player living
drinking
every
the first
single
drinking
week.
episode,
2012,
and we were
the fact
talking
that
about
this is just not happening.
Battlefield 3.
Ridiculous.
I have not
Sort of
gotten
exciting
more
drop
comments on an episode
stop
of
telling
Weekend
guys.
Confirmed
So
than
much
that
slurs,
episode where
like,
I
it
went on
doesn't
a
mean
huge
anything.
rant
They're
about
all
the nameless
different
of voiceless
I think it was gay game.
female